friends. This is a video about how I attach my I-cord edging to my Mitred Square blankets, or happy patchwork blankets as I like to call them. You may have already seen the video where I talk about how, it's always a hair I've knitted in, how I knit my squares and what pattern I follow. But this one is all about how I attach the I-cord, which I couldn't remember the name of. So I'm going to do that now. I've done quite a lot of this blanket already. I started here, and so I've done all of this side. Have I done all of this side? All of that side. And I'm about halfway through, a bit tangly there, halfway through on this edge. So I'm going to show you, to begin with, how I started. These are cute little macaron needle stoppers that we sell in our shop. These are raspberry and rose, and we also have lemon. We've also got donuts as well. So let me turn my work over, because that's how I start from the back. I did start this quite a few times actually until I got it right. I think I unpicked it 5 or 6 times, and I'd done quite a lot at that point, but it wasn't looking right. I tried starting from the front edge, didn't look right. I also started with a different stitch count, that didn't look right. So what I ended up with was working from the back, and I'll cast on 5 stitches and then pick one up. So I'm going to show you how I do that now. So let's forget about this one, and I'm going to start in a different place so that I can show you how I started. I'm going to have to use different yarn. Hang on one second. So I've got some different yarn so that I can show you from beginning how I did it. You'll notice that my ends have not been sewn in, and that's because I'm going to back this quilt and turn it into a knitted quilt almost, with fabric on the back. And I'll be doing that over with my Patreons. So if you want to find out about that, that's where you'll find that, but I won't be doing it for a little while yet. And of course, this is just how I do it. I can't say this is the correct way, but this is just how I do it. So I'm going to cast on 5 stitches on my DPN. So 5 there. Now keep your end out of the way, because it's so easy to start knitting with that end. So to get started, I go into a gap between the purl bumps, and that will vary a little bit as to what side you're working on, but you just need to pick up 1 stitch. Some of the sides have this kind of edging, and just go in between these little purl bumps. So they're all slightly different, and also with the cast on edge is slightly different too. So I've just picked up 1 stitch, and now I'm going to pick up the correct yarn end, slide my needles to the end of the left DPN, and I'm going to knit. Oops. I'm going to knit these stitches, and I knit the first 2 like this, and then I give it a nice tug, because you want your tube, your I-cord tube, to be round. So nice tug, and then knit until you have 2 stitches left, and then knit through the back loop of 2 together, then pick up another stitch in the gap between the purl bumps. Oops. Slide your stitches to the end of the left needle, and just do exactly the same, and that's all you do all the way around, with exception of the corners. When I get to the corners, I find the corner space, and I do 3 of these in that space, a bit like crochet when you do extra chains in the corner. So knit the first 2, give it a nice tug, knit until you have 2 stitches left, and then knit those 2 through the back loop, oops, and pick up another stitch. This blanket was knit using 2.25 needles until I forgot one day and picked up the wrong needles and ended with 2.5 needles. I wasn't quite sure what size needles to use for the I-cord, but I didn't have 2.25 DPNs, and they're much easier when you're knitting I-cord than magic loop. So I ended up using 2.5mm needles, and it seems to be working really well. I'm quite a tight knitter, as you might be able to tell from this, and I feel that I do knit this fairly tightly because I want it to be a nice rounded shape. I don't want it to be gappy or anything. So that's how I do it. So knit the first two, give a nice tug, knit until the last two stitches, and then knit those last two stitches through the back loop and pick up your next stitch. And there we go. That's how I do mine. So this is a close-up of how it looks, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that and it was helpful. Bye.